She tells me the reason we don't touch anymore is because I make it stressful, and then she turns her back to me and scrolls on her phone until she falls asleep. That's the part that keeps looping in my head. The explanation and the behavior happening at the same time. Most nights look the same. We finish the dinner cleanup. One of us checks homework, the other packs lunches or wipes down the counter. By the time the kids are finally in their rooms, she's already moving toward the bedroom with her phone in her hand. Not in a dramatic way, just routine. Pajamas, charger, screen glow. Sometimes she says she's exhausted before I say anything. Sometimes she doesn't say anything at all and just climbs into bed facing the wall. Other nights, she doesn't even make it that far and says she'll sleep on the couch because her back hurts or she fell asleep watching something earlier. If I follow her into the bedroom, she sighs. If I stay in the living room, she later says I never come to bed with her. If I try to sit close, she shifts and says she's overheated. If I don't, she tells me I feel distant. There isn't a version of the night where the timing is right. Too early, and I'm only thinking about one thing. Too late, and she's already tired. A weekend afternoon is wrong because the kids could walk in. A planned date night is wrong because she feels pressure. A spontaneous moment is wrong because she wasn't prepared. What's consistent is that nothing actually happens. Not even the small stuff. She doesn't reach for my hand on the couch anymore. If I put my arm around her shoulders, she stiffens and says she's touched out from the kids. When I lean in for a kiss that lasts longer than a second, she pulls back and asks what I'm doing. There's a line now between us that wasn't there before, and I can feel it even when we're sitting next to each other. Her phone is always the last thing she looks at. Scrolling, tapping, sometimes laughing quietly at something I don't see. The screen goes dark only after she's already turned away. I lie there listening to it, the tiny clicks, and tell myself I'm reading too much into it. Everyone unwinds differently. Everyone is tired. We have kids. This is what life looks like now. I keep wondering if I'm the one who messed up the rhythm. Maybe I brought it up too often. Maybe I didn't read the signals right. She says the problem is my pressure, the way I expect things instead of letting them happen naturally. When she says that, I nod. I tell her I understand. I tell her I'll back off. And I do. I stop initiating. I stop mentioning it. I try to be lighter, easier, more helpful. I think if I remove myself as the problem, things will settle. But when I do that, nothing fills the space. The space just stays empty. We met in a way that didn't feel dramatic at the time. A mutual friend's birthday, sitting at opposite ends of a long table, talking about work and complaining about traffic. She laughed easily. She asked questions. It felt normal. We started seeing each other, went out after work, watched shows together, cooked meals without checking the clock. There wasn't a rush. That was part of what made it feel safe. When we got married and had kids, things changed in obvious ways. But there was still a sense that we were a team. We had routines, bedtimes, weekend plans. Even when we were tired, there was an understanding that we were still connected. I didn't worry about whether I was allowed to want her. It didn't feel like a negotiation. The first shift was small enough that I didn't mark it as anything. She started falling asleep earlier. Or she'd say, "Not tonight. I'm wiped." And I'd say, "Okay." There was one night where I tried to talk about it, just casually, and she said I was overthinking it and making it a bigger deal than it needed to be. So I dropped it. That seemed like the mature thing to do. After that, the pattern formed quietly. Every time I brought it up, even gently, she'd say the conversation itself was the problem. That talking about it made her feel pressured. So I learned to wait. I learned to read the room. I learned to talk myself out of saying anything. And when I didn't say anything, she was calmer. We didn't fight. The house felt more stable. Silence became the reward. The cost was that I started editing myself. I stopped reaching for her unless I was sure it wouldn't be interpreted as a request. I stopped kissing her goodbye in the morning if she seemed rushed. I stopped telling her I missed her. I told myself this was just a phase, that parenting exhaustion is real, that everyone I know jokes about being too tired. In public, we look fine. We attend school events together. We sit next to each other. People say we're solid. At home, we move around each other carefully, like we're sharing a narrow hallway. I defend it when people ask how we're doing. I say we're busy. I say it's just this stage of life. I hear myself saying, "It's not that bad," even as I'm counting how many nights in a row she slept facing away from me. I know it sounds small when I say it out loud. I know other couples have bigger problems. But this isn't one bad week. It's the same conversation, or lack of one, over and over. I stay because our kids wake up in the same house every morning. Because their routines are intact. Because I don't want to be the person who breaks that. I stay because our families see us as stable, and I don't know how to explain this without sounding selfish. I stay because part of me still believes that if I just get it right, if I'm patient enough, quiet enough, understanding enough, something will shift back. Leaving isn't just walking out the door. It's figuring out where the kids would sleep. It's imagining shared holidays and schedules and finances stretched thin. It's the fear that I'd lose time with them, or that they'd blame themselves. It's the reality that even if I left, the problem wouldn't disappear neatly. It would just change shape. There wasn't a blow-up that made this clear. No discovery. No dramatic moment. It was a night where I didn't even try to initiate, and she still said, "You don't have to look disappointed." And I realized she was responding to something that wasn't happening anymore. The accusation was still there even when the behavior wasn't. That stayed with me. Right now, I'm still here. I'm still trying to be patient without erasing myself. I'm still being told to try harder in ways that don't seem to include being wanted. I haven't made a decision. I'm aware of what's happening, but I don't know what to do with that awareness yet. So I keep asking myself the same thing, quietly, late at night. How long can rejection be framed as patience before it becomes permanent?